Last time we discussed about the egg, the dragon, and the embryo. But what we're going to be discussing today, we're going to go into more details and look a little more further into what I was describing regarding the African continent and how I believe that the African continent is actually a dragon's head. And you see, the problem here is that people don't understand. If you look all over the world, we have fossils and fossilized humans, giant humans, basically giants that were in this world at that time. But don't get it twisted, because why? Those giants came to existence because of something else. Dinosaurs couldn't exist unless something else existed. Dragons couldn't exist unless something else existed. Now, in my theory, I believe that there was one embryo in this egg. Just one embryo. And when that embryo died, somehow we became its manifestation, along with everything else that manifested before us. Meaning the dragons in the sky, dragons in the seas, dinosaurs, reptiles, crocodile, mammals, and the rest of it. And then here's humans. So what I'm trying to explain is, everything you see around you is nothing but a deceased corpse. It's nothing but a deceased something. A deceased this, a deceased that. So what you gonna understand is things like sand, mud, all of this you have to look into the real chemistries and the science of it. Like, cause all of these counts down to nothing but bones and body parts and etc. So here we are. Today I'm gonna take a moment, I'm gonna take the time. So here we are. Today I will be taking the time to invest in explaining much further about the African continent. I will have side by side samples to show you. I will show you how a fossilized reptile skull looks similar to the African continent. I will show you how the eye sockets of a reptiles or fossilized reptile looks equivalently the same as the map or the continent of Africa. So without any more delay, let's go straight into it. Right. Now, if you can see on this map of the continent of Africa, you can certainly see the eye socket. I mean, I stated this in my previous video. Clearly stated this in my previous video. You can clearly see the eye socket, and then you can see a crack that goes underneath the eye socket and connects straight to the nose. And this, like I said as well on my last video, is a very clear, well seen patterns with all reptiles, especially fossilized reptiles, which I'm about to show you another slide of a fossilized dinosaur and of a fossilized, generally heads and skulls of other creatures, etc. But for now, I will be sticking with just a fossilized dinosaur and maybe just something else, just to show you exactly what I can see, and I hope you can see the same. Yeah, so basically these dinosaurs are responsible for the coming of mammals. And if you can see underneath the eye sockets, you can clearly see the crack that goes right up to the nose, and it stops right where the nose is. It doesn't go any further. In the next slide, more view of this, you can clearly see the crack going right up underneath the nose, and it stops right there. All this just ties the whole myth to becoming a reality, because this is clearly an image showing us exactly what we can see in the African continent map. Now let's move on to the egg. Now I would like to show everyone something interesting, very interesting, something I found out, something that I actually looked into myself, and I realized that I wasn't wrong, I was in the right path. You see the eggshell, you can see little tiny balls of columns in the center. I'm gonna shock most of you up, I'm gonna surprise most of you. Now these little balls of columns, you won't imagine where else I saw these little balls of column. Alright, listen, the next slide is a map of the ancient world, is a map of the earliest map we had of this world. It's the first ever map. And this is what it looks like. Now you can clearly see how we have the column here in the oldest and the earliest map we ever had on this earth. This map must be at least thousands of years. And in this map, on the outer layer, you can also see these columns. In the circle outer layer of the map, you can also see the same column we saw in the egg yolk of a natural egg that we have in the 21st century. You can see the same column, because I said to myself, it's all the same thing anyway. They're all the same thing. We manifested from these things. Whatever the egg was 2 billion years ago will be the same today.